I'm a program specialist in education and chief of education with the UNESCO New Delhi office. I'm very glad to be here. It's my 5th time to come to Bhutan, so I'm very, very privileged. I always love it to come here, especially coming from New Delhi. And I'm joined here today with Miss Prim Wong, who is, like Pub had said, an inspirational, dynamic, and prolific young activist. She is also an AI engineer, and the reason why she is here today with us is because she is very much involved in the Asia-Pacific Forum for Sustainable Development. She was the youth delegate. She also was very much involved with ECOSOC, in terms of promoting climate change education, is also environmental sustainability. So without further ado, we'd like to start the conversation. Of course, I would like to ask Prim first on introducing herself a little bit, her experience on advocating for climate change education and for sustainable development, and then we can take it up from there. So over to you, Prim. So who are you? Tell us why we would be listening to you and all of your experiences. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Joyce, and good morning, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, young people and students from here. Thank you for joining us today, and I would like to thank to the UN Bhutan and also the Royal Government of Bhutan for organizing this amazing SDG Partnership Week and inviting us to speak on a very critical point on climate change and climate education, where it has been integrated in our lives. Climate change has exacerbated poverty. It has disproportionately vulnerable group. So the vulnerable are disproportionately affected the most and also impact us socially, economically, and all aspects of our lives. Starting from my advocacy on climate change, I'm from an island. So have you guys been to an island, to Maldives, to different places? It's sea, sand, and sun. It was very beautiful places. And right now, our islands are sinking. It means that we don't have any beach anymore. There are no home, there are no hope, there are no life. We have lost many things in our life. We have lost economically, we have lost many cultures. And starting from that awareness and action, I feel like we don't want anyone else to die because of climate change, to lose their hope because of climate change. And we want Bhutan to be a country that's thriving, that there is less impact of climate change into this country.
Which is your island?
I'm from Phuket Island.
Phuket. Has anyone ever been to Phuket? Okay, so exactly, it is a beautiful island.
Yes, and our world is interconnected. It is based on science. We have butterfly effects, meaning that if butterfly flaps a wing somewhere, and then the tornado could happen in another place. And this means that flooding somewhere in the world could affect us here in Bhutan. It could mean that we have less biodiversity because the animals, the forest, our lives are very interconnected to each other. And when we are together in this world, that we can take action together for climate change.
I like how you said that we're all connected, and exactly that, because of your experience in the international fora, and that you have been involved with many Asia-Pacific countries, especially the youth delegates, etc. Can you tell us a little bit more of what you have found among the Asia-Pacific countries? Your island, your Thailand, I come from Indonesia, we are talking about Bhutan. What have you noticed among the Asia-Pacific countries in terms of of climate change and environmental sustainability?
For Asia and the Pacific, Asia, we are mostly in our lands. We have our mountains, we have our beautiful rivers, we have our places. And taking climate action is improving our lives as a whole, from having a better air to breathe, to the sea and to the marine lives that they can enjoy to the fullest potential, that we can talk about their wildlife, to the sea and to the birds, where they have their own right and they live in a clean environment. And in the Pacific, there are a lot of islands in Pacific. And Pacific Island, most of them are sinking. Some of them could have lost the whole island if the sea level is continue to rise. But it also affects us as well as extreme weathers in Asia and in Pacific. it's unpredictable weather, meaning that the time that we plant our crops, our yield, or in our food system is changing. The rain is more unpredictable now. The season has changed. When it's rain season, it could be summer. And in this case, it actually affects our lives because food is a source of our system. And in agricultural countries, like in Bhutan, in Thailand, in many countries in Asia, where food is the fundamental being of our lives. And having climate change impacting food is impacting health. Healthy food is healthy life, is happier life. And if we can ensure that our areas, our city, our climate resilience, that we can have cooler temperature, it's like from very hot in Thailand, or even very cold in Bhutan, that we can have a more neutral climate that everyone can live in, that we can be surviving in our climate change. So in Asia, we have been impacted from climate change drastically, from very hot temperature until to how we economically as well, into our crop yield, and in Pacific, impacting the most is where their islands are sinking and they have no home there left.
I like what you said about having better environment and better climate and understanding and a more regular climate and weather impacts also better health, because as I mentioned, I'm based in New Delhi, and New Delhi, the pollution is very, very high at the moment, even that, so our offices are encouraged to, our colleagues are encouraged to work from home. And I come here to Bhutan in this pristine air that we're breathing, so that is, like you said, the impact. And you also noticed this when you were a younger student, and how you got involved in climate change education and climate activism. Tell us a little bit more of how you started when you were in Thailand and what you did.
Yeah, thank you so much. I started from our knowledge, from an AI, from an artificial intelligence. We know that in our rivers, they are polluted, they have a lot of trash, they are not clean, and the fish are dying, and the oxygen in the river, it's degrading. So at that time, with my community, and with young leaders, with many inspiring people that I've worked with, we realized that we have to clean the beach, we have to clean our rivers. And this means that we were cleaning the marine debris in the sea. So at that time, we used our knowledge from young people. I learned about artificial intelligence. So I made a program which detects the trash into the rivers. So we will know what types of trash were there. And then we can analyze and then see what the flow of trash from one area to another area. This is helping the community, raising awareness of young people, of people around the community, not to pollute our rivers anymore. It doesn't mean that it's already dirty, we can throw more trash. It means that we have to clean them. And this is the reality, that we have to clean our rivers to have a better livelihood. There will be no more smell, our health is better. And using this AI system of object detection, we detect each types of trash, and we can analyze where it comes from, and we can do a pickup, like a trash cleaning, in the most effective way. So we can go one time. We know that all the trash will come together at this river, and then we do one cleanup, and the whole rivers are more clean. And
Who did you work with then to develop this program, and as well as to clean up the trash in the rivers? Yes. Who did you work with?
We work with the community and the volunteers. So we are the youth, we are the developers, so we have the cameras, and then we put it down, and then we inform the community, the people who lives next to the river, that we can clean our beach. And it can only take, so we can do the same task with less time, with more efficiently, more effectively, and then we can have a clean river. And at that time, it also starts with stop polluting. And when we stop, we can clean them, and then we can finish.
How did you maintain sustainability? You've got the community in this initiative. You have the youth. Did you also involve governments and private sector in this entire activity?
We have the private sectors who help us to fund some of the technologies and how to clean up, and also the government to inform them as well to data collection and partnership with them. And this is really important. Young people, we can do amazing things, great tasks, in partnership with government, private sectors, civil societies, to the community. We can really make that impact, starting with your community, starting with your home, and you can make your home better, and that is gradually to be your country better, and the region will be better.
That's exactly like Project Chica, in a way, together, that we can't do things on our own. You had involved your youth friends, the local community, and the government, and you gave them results, evidence that this is what we can do together.
Yeah.
Actually, I wanted to just also explain that the United Nations, together with governments, with civil society, with youth advocates, and the private sector, is working on what's called a Greening Education Partnership. And some of you may have heard of this. And from Greening Education Partnership, there are 4 pillars exactly about climate change: on greening schools, greening curriculum, greening teachers and the educators and their capacity to understand what climate change education is all about, as well as greening communities. And it's exactly this togetherness that's needed. And so I know that we have perhaps just some 10 minutes more to go. How do you see then, not just climate change education, greening education, for Bhutan, for the youth here in the Asia-Pacific region, what would be your words to motivate them?
Green education. Thank you. But also, putting back in that project, we also got recognition from NASA. So, that we can collaborate.
Please tell us more.
Yeah, we got a global nominee from NASA Space App. So it's a global recognized, and in partnership with international organization to get the data from satellite images as well. So that's really cool. And to the Green Education Partnership, we have different pillars on green curriculum, green teachers, green community. I think green education for young people, it has to be an edutainment. So it is the way that you learn about climate change, but in a very fun way, in a stimulation. It's like if you're in this room, and then you know what happened, what you should do if there's an earthquake right now. If there's a simulation, where should you hide? Where should you go? Who should you ask for this? Do you go under the table? Do you go into an area? This is the edutainment that will help young people to understand more, not just in the book, but the way that we can experience our impact from climate change, from natural disaster, and for us to be prepared at that time, what we should do if these goals happen. So it can be rooted into their heart about the awareness that starts from them, that we want to save ourselves. We want to save our home, save our loved one, and save our lives. And that is the education that we need for people, for young people, for children. And if you have a fun, encouraging education on climate, on the places, if you have less homework or you have no homework, or homework about your family, how your grandma live, how your grandma plant trees, how is our culture, how is our lives, and then we learn about these things. Not just one-size-fits-all education for the whole world, but a localized education for yourself to be able to learn about my environment. What are Bhutanese trees? What are Bhutanese food? What vitamin? Or adding research into these. What vitamin do we get? And then is it enough? And how can we improve our system as a whole? And this kind of education is making young people having the autonomy and having the skills to be able to improve our lives, to be improving our economy, can get a higher paid job, higher income, and this also leads to your future. If you have a green job, every job can be a green job, and green jobs are the high paid job as well, because you are uplifting the way you work. For example, as I am a woman in STEM, as working in artificial intelligence, science, technology, and mathematics, if we know about our agricultural system, and then we have learn about that we have to add more vitamin A or vitamin B, or what kind of plants should we grow in Bhutan to maximize our economy income, also at the same time making our health happier, health better, lives happier. This is data analytics jobs. These are fancy jobs. These are great jobs. These are what we can do for our country, and then we can earn more money at the same time.
I like what you said. I'm going to take 3 things from that last clip that you mentioned: contextualization, evidence, and engagement. Like you said, what is it that is needed where I am situated, where I live, and where I can work? And the evidence, you need the data. You need to know what works and what doesn't work also, because you don't want to waste resources. And engagement which leads to action. That's very, very good. And so, any last words that you want to say to our audience here?
Last word. But well, climate change is close to us. It's from the temperature we breathe. It's from the air we breathe, from the seas, from the animals, from the mountains, and from the rivers. For young people, youth are the game changer. And youth are the green changers. It is our world. It's our only home. And we have the capacity. We have the action. You can study your STEM. You can contribute as your action. You can form youth network. And when youth work together, youth are very stronger. Youth have innovative action. We can have innovative solutions that we can contribute to our society, into our homes, and partnership together with all stakeholders, and also partnership with governments, civil society stakeholders, and also the fact of leaving no one behind. The climate action is inclusive. Climate action involves women, involves children, young people, indigenous people, marginalized community, the elderly, people with disabilities. Everyone are stakeholders, and all of us are vulnerable to climate change, because in the poised air, we cannot breathe. In a dangerous environment, we cannot live. So we need to take that action now. And at action, with youth, we have hope. And that hope will turn into the reality. We can take that action right here and right now.
Thank you very much. Yesterday, our MC Poop was saying, in Bhutan you have a sentiment of accepting things. I think already with what Prim has been saying, and I know from around the room, it's not always just saying yes. Sometimes, yes, we agree because we're polite. We don't want to disrespect the other person. But I think from what you have said, yes can also be an internalization of what am I agreeing to? What I see now can always be better. So no, we're not always agreeing. I don't think the Bhutanese youth are always agreeing. So I hope that with this little fireside chat, it's given you ideas, opened up some more thoughts. Of course, Prim is going to be around, and like I said, her energy makes me feel more young, right, Olaf? Younger, yes, younger. But thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much, Prim.
Thank you very much.